Hi there, good afternoon. I'm Eric Chilton along with Lauren Coleman, Stacy Spivey, and Monique Robinson.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving Eve, whether you're watching at home, on air, online, tablet, Facebook. We got so many ways for you to see us.
And we do have a lot to get to this afternoon. We want to get right to new information in the Ahmaud Arbery murder trial, where a verdict was reached for 3 men accused of killing Arbery. Travis McMichael, the man who fatally shot Arbery, was convicted of murder. His father, Greg McMichael, who pursued Arbery with his son, was convicted of murder. Roddie, Bryan, the man who recorded the cell phone video showing the killing, was also convicted of murder. The conviction carries a minimum sentence of life in prison.
AAA says Thanksgiving travel is reaching pre-pandemic levels. The organization predicts 53.4 million people will travel for Turkey Day. That's an increase of 13% from last year. More people will travel by car than plane. More than 48 million people will drive to their Thanksgiving dinners, while just over 4 million people will fly. Those numbers are just shy of the 56 million people who traveled in 2019.
Travel may be inching toward pre-pandemic levels, but we're still in the thick of the pandemic. People are still taking precautions this year by getting tested before Thanksgiving dinner. This year is different from last year. Dr. David Priest with Novant Health says you have to decide if you need a test on a case-by-case basis, depending on vaccination status, if anyone is immunocompromised or showing symptoms. Let's go ahead and take a look at our numbers compared this year to last year. On this date in 2020, Cone Health was treating 131 COVID patients, nearly triple the patients currently receiving COVID care. On November 24th, 2020, 0% of the population was fully vaccinated. Vaccines weren't available. Today, 56% of the total population is protected. The state reports more than 18,000 people have died from COVID-19 and COVID complications since the pandemic started, including nearly 900 in Guilford County. For families blessed to gather this Thanksgiving, many lined up to get their menu items for the holiday. This was the line this morning at Honey Baked Ham on Battleground Avenue in Greensboro. The restaurant is open until 7, though a lot of what's going out today are pre-orders.
It's daunting, isn't it? Just thinking about making all of that food. But our Eric Chilton did a little bit of internet research to help you de-stress the whole Thanksgiving meal process.
All right, we could all use a little help, right, in getting things ready for Thanksgiving. I know usually your Thursday is packed from the moment you get up to the moment you serve things. You're cooking and fixing and cutting and chopping and baking and blah, blah, blah. Here's the best thing to do. According to foodandwine.com, they say there are some things that you should do the day before, which is today, people. So here we go. Number 1, stuffing. All the chefs say that if you mix it today, then put it back in the fridge and then bake it tomorrow, the flavors actually get better. That's a running theme with some of these things they say you should do the day before anyway. Casseroles. A couple of the chefs they surveyed said casseroles, just the name casserole means that it should be made ahead of time because they're easy to reheat. They said they were built to be made early. Gravy, believe it or not, some of the chefs say marinade sauces, gravies, they can all be made even a day or 2 ahead of time. Brussels sprouts, never thought of this. The chef said blanch them in salted water and then saute them with onions and bacon. Gosh, that sounds so good. Then you can put those aside back in the fridge, and the next day, just a quick little reheat with a saute, maybe a few more onions just to bring the flavor out. That's the best thing to do. So those things you can do today. Now, just a quick note, there are some things they say to never do the day before, and this makes sense. Turkeys, any proteins, they said. Anything made with fresh greens, rolls, cornbread, or mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes don't reheat well. There you go. Now you're on your way to having a productive Wednesday and a more relaxed turkey day. So they were saying that mashed potatoes don't do because they get gluey the next day, he said, although I've reheated mashed potatoes, sometimes they're okay. Rolls, cornbread, all that gets dry, so do proteins, turkey and other meats will get dry. And then greens tend to, even if they're a part of some dish, they tend to wilt. Okay. So all that the day of, but if you do all that other stuff today, and then you're ready to go tomorrow, you're just reheating things, it cuts down your workload.
Are you all doing any of the prepping tonight? What dishes are you preparing?
Oh my gosh, we have so I have my mother-in-law and her sister and my wife and me all kind of working on that tonight, so everybody just divide. There are a million dishes because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff.
I don't have anything on my plate.
You come over, Stacey.
I mean, I'm working Thanksgiving, which is it's totally fine. This weekend I'll go up to my husband's parents' house and we'll enjoy, eating with them. But as for tomorrow,
What are you doing?
I'm off the hook.
I was about to say, I'm like Stacey, my parents and my family, they like to dominate the kitchen. I'm just kind of there for
Sit back
the
and relax.
conversation. I might help peel a potato or two, but they like to do their own thing.
That's me. I let them handle the majority because they know what they're doing and I don't with that stuff. I am cleanup guy. So
Okay.
I'm on dish duty. As soon as it's over with, I got to handle
Ooh,
it.
that's a heavy job.
It is.
You're hand washing all
It's
of them?
yeah, well, if we do the fine china thing, which I don't want to do, but we'll see.
Paper plates.
That's what I would
yeah.
rather do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, after stuffing yourself full of food, the last thing you want to deal with on your holiday is this: clogged drains or pipes. Yuck. It can also be a headache, right? With extra guests over at your house and piles of dirty dishes, something could go wrong and then out of nowhere, the water overflows. It actually happened at my house last year and it cost us about $800 to fix our garbage disposal. Lee Amos with Master Plumbers says they stay busy on Black Friday, as you can imagine. Some plumbers even refer to the day as Brown Friday. He's seen everything from forks and knives causing major issues to toothpicks and even a Q-tip costing folks a lot of money. He says drains can run from $100 to thousands of dollars to unclog. So how do you prevent this? Amos says don't put anything larger than a quarter down the disposal. Foods like lettuce, rice, or beans can easily clog the drain. If something like grease goes down your drain, use hot water first, then use some Dawn dish soap and end with cold water. After using the disposal, you can use ice to clean the blades, which I did not know that. He also says try not to use any harsh chemicals because that can lead to more problems in the future.
Something that's very small can cause a major problem. We wouldn't want that to happen for folks. We're here to take care of them, and when it happens, they have to call us. But we certainly wouldn't want to make that, or we wouldn't want to advise people to do things that would cause big problems.
And we do have more advice from Amos on our website, WFMYnews2.com.
A nonprofit wants to keep those in need warm this winter. That's why it bought a former Greensboro hotel to serve as a winter emergency location. A nonprofit called Partnership Homes Incorporated teamed up with the Interactive Resource Center in Greensboro Urban Ministry to make this all happen. The former Regency Inn and Suites will be able to house around 90 people. Along with a warm room, guests will have access to laundry services, clean bedding, and meals. We spoke with one man who just recently moved in.
I've been out here on the streets for about 5 or 6 years by circumstances beyond my control. And this was a blessing because it's so cold out here and I've been sleeping in a tent.
City leaders say the goal is to eventually move guests into permanent housing.
It's Wednesday, hump day, and another sunny day across the Triad. When you look outside, though, things are changing just a little bit. The key indication, when you look to the sky, we're starting to see some cirrus clouds in our sky. So it's very high upper level clouds, nothing thick to produce any rainfall today, but that story is going to change as we go over the next couple of days. The temperatures right now are in the 50s. I'll take it. The last couple of days we've been even cooler than this. 50 degrees right now in Greensboro. We're all agreeing with that right around the central Piedmont area. 50 also in Winston-Salem, 50 in High Point, 51 in Burlington, 54 in Yanceyville. They're a little bit warmer. Our satellite radar, like I said, completely dry, but the story changes as we move through the weekend. So starting with a bit of increasing cloud cover to start your Thursday, big old Turkey Day tomorrow. As we go through the day, we'll see a bit of clouds, but not until the end of the day where we could possibly see some showers in some locations. It's going to be more of a very early Friday morning. So when you're waking up extremely early, could potentially get some rainfall, but not significant rainfall totals. Behind that, though, things are just going to get chilly. I mean, you talk about winter gear. I've been saying it all week long. Pull it out the storage closet. You're going to need it this week. It's going to be bone-chilling cold.
Okay, I am talking about how to keep the peace at Thanksgiving dinner.
This Thanksgiving may be the first many families get together again for the holiday in a year, but that doesn't mean Uncle Joe won't ruffle your feathers a bit.
Families fight and debate, but that doesn't mean they love each other less. Blanca Cobb, who has a master's in psychology, joins us today to talk about how you can keep the peace over the turkey.
Yeah, so Blanca, with the pandemic going on, we're living in a climate that can easily spark debate. So what do you do if someone brings up masking or vaccinations at the table and you disagree with them?
Listen, just listen. Nobody says that you have to participate in the discussion. You can listen to someone and you can nod your head. That lets them know that you're listening. Doesn't necessarily mean that you agree. Just hear them out and see what happens. Sometimes people just want to be validated. They want to be heard. And then the conversation goes nowhere else. So that's a first place to start, is just by listening.
Sometimes people can have respectful conversations about political differences. How can you tell if a conversation, though, starts going south? Because often they do.
Yeah, so whether it's politics or whether it has to do with the pandemic, whatever the topic is, when someone starts talking faster, their baseline changes. They talk faster and louder and they put their hands down and they're like, yeah, but, or they're enlisting somebody else for help. Hey, Mary, come over here. Tell them how you feel about this. You know, when they start getting more people involved in the conversation, you're going to feel ganged up on. And so again, when that baseline behavior changes and they get louder and they get faster and there's a lot of yeah buts where they're not listening, they're talking over you, then you know the conversation is going south very quickly.
Okay, and then obviously you do want to kind of diffuse the situation then. So how can you do that or even steer clear of those conversations completely?
One is that you've got to keep your cool. This means you have to watch your own tone of voice, watch your own body language to make sure that you're not getting tense, right? And then you can say things like, I hear you. We see it differently. I hear what you're saying, Bob. I just see it differently than you do. That's it. Or you can say something like, you know, to keep it light, well, we're not going to talk about politics at the table. We'll talk about it later. When you give somebody a time frame and say, we'll talk about it later, no one's saying what year later, but you're saying later. That's enough for people to feel like they're being heard. And a lot of people can wait until later comes. And they may not even bring it up again. However, some people will, and then you'll have to decide whether you want to have that conversation. But have these types of conversations away from an audience. The more people around, it's almost like adding fuel to a fire, and a conversation just can get heated very quickly.
Well, Blanca, thank you for all the advice. I know this is something that every family probably deals with at some point or another. I know it's happened in my family before, so it's great to know what to do, how to handle those situations, and kind of divert the conversation.
I think you almost have to put rules in place, like when you come to my house, we're not going to talk about this, we're not going to talk about X, Y, Z. I know when I hang out with some of my friends, we're like, for this hour and a half, we're not talking about work. No talk about work, no looking at emails, no complaining.
That's so hard for people in television, isn't it, Lauren?
It is.
Such a hard time not talking about. I do like what she said with just listening and nodding your head. I'm classic for if that starts and it's a group of people standing around, I'll just slowly walk away and ghost to another group. Or you could always use the cell phone thing. Oh, hold on. That's the out.
I like that one.
I think for me, it's really easy to kind of be chill because I'm full. You know, when you're hungry, you're a little bit more antsy and irritable. But when you're full from a Thanksgiving meal, I'm more than likely to kind of brush things off. So I think that helps it being on Thanksgiving, that more than likely I'll be too full to really sit there and argue with anybody. When I'm full and I'm just chilling, I don't got the energy
I like
to
that.
exert.
Too full to argue.
I like that too. Or you can, just enjoy the football game, unless your team is playing your family member's team. Then I guess that's a whole nother conversation, right? Well, we'll be right back after this break. Stay with us. A bakery in Archdale is showing thanks to its employees by closing down for the next few days. Archdale Bakery closed early today so staff could travel and spend much needed time with family. Monica Moyer opened her bakery in March 2020 and says it's been nonstop for her staff service ever since.
People love their sweets and things of that sort, so we love serving the community. People are getting back in their offices, so people are coming in getting things for their office as well.
They will reopen on Tuesday.
It's been a difficult 2 years from the domino effect of the pandemic losses, illnesses, and the pressures of day-to-day life. Mix all that together and you start to feel burned out. Dr. Jonathan Fisher with Novant Health says the first step we can take to handle burnout is turning off that inner critic.
Sometimes just recognizing that voice in our heads and slowly replacing it with a voice that's more supportive. Something like, "You're doing the best you can. This is a really hard time right now. Can you just be kind to yourself right now?" So that's the most basic.
Dr. Fisher adds reaching out for help is the next step in caring for ourselves. You can seek professional help, reach out to a friend, or the person you trust most may be sitting right beside you at the dinner table for Thanksgiving.
We either are in two situations. One, we find ourselves together with family members, and that can sometimes be a little stressful if we don't get along with all of them, or it can be wonderful. We can come together with somebody that we haven't seen in a long time, and we can focus on that one person around the Thanksgiving table, that one person who we know is a really good listener, and pull them aside.
Dr. Fisher explains you don't always have to surround yourself with people if that's not what your body needs.
I think it's important to, you said, find a good listener. I think that's so important. Sometimes somebody that is not necessarily offering an opinion, but just listens. And I think just getting that out is like step number one to being kind of settled.
I like what he said, like you got to be kind to yourself, because I feel like we put all these pressures on ourselves when it comes to like our jobs or just our daily tasks and routines. You have to say, I can only do the best that I can do. And people are just going to have to be happy with that.
That's true.
And it doesn't just, happen within work environments, but the holidays in itself can be really stressful, thinking about you have to buy this, this, and this for this person, and making sure you get the perfect gift, and travel plans, and making everyone happy. And then I know with some families, there's a certain family member you don't want to see, so you just have to,
It's true.
just take a breather,
Just 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to recenter.
I like what you said, and when you're saying that, sometimes you just have to say, I'm doing the best I can.
What you can.
And I did, like in my career, people sometimes would talk about, was the show highly rated, was the newscast you were, all that. And when I was younger, I would stress so much about that. As I got older, I said, you know what, all I can do is the best job that I can do, and then I have to wait and see, So I quit looking at that years ago because I can't.
It's good because, say if you stress yourself out and to the point where you're sick and you can't work, a couple days later, somebody else is going to be there doing that same thing.
That's right.
So you really can't lose yourself in that process.
Nose to the grindstone. That's
Yeah.
what you do. All right, we'll take a break. We're coming right back. Stay there. All right, when you've gobbled up all the turkey that your stomach can handle, make sure you save room for dessert. High Point University recently polled North Carolinians to find out what their favorite pie is. What do you think? The answer? Pumpkin pie. Yeah, that's the winner there. 22% of those surveyed said they'd rather have pumpkin pie on the table than any other pie. Next in line, apple, then pecan, and that favored by 18%. Then sweet potato pie with 14% of people wanting that on their plate. Less favorable pies included chocolate, cherry, blueberry, peach, and strawberry. And I have to say that I am just the opposite. I love chocolate pie, I love the blueberry pie, and I'm not as big on sweet potato pie or pumpkin pie.
I've never had blueberry pie.
I love it with ice cream.
Oh, that sounds good, like a blueberry cobbler.
Yes.
Now, okay, I had sweet potato pie for the first time ever yesterday when Tanya brought some. I was surprised, I actually kind of liked it. But I will say that pecan pie is my #1 solid choice. I mean,
agree.
I just want to take it.
I
with
know,
me.
it's so good.
Oh, I can't wait to have
With
that.
sugar.
Did High Point University study this on?
I'm
Because
wondering the
sweet
same.
potato needed to be #1.
Yes.
I think when you do pies, it's all about the crust. And, you know, I'm gonna have to bring one to the 4 to 5. I think we're gonna have to bring Monique's pie to the 4 to 5.
Yes,
Because
please.
sweet potato, when I make it, I wouldn't say I put my foot in it, but your girl does a little something to the pie, and y'all gonna look.
All right, now you're going to bring that.
I'm ready
And
to
Monique
try
is
it.
a
too.
great cook. I've tried her food. She's
Well,
good.
okay, why don't we need a segment where we can try your food, Monique.
Where each of us does a different dish. We can have a nice little meal.
I'm down.
I will go pick up something for you.
No, you got to make it. Stacey's going to be at Honey
Make you
Baked Ham.
PB&J.
All right, let us know on Facebook what's your favorite pie. Do you agree or disagree with us? We'll be back.
Hello, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together.
Let me clip it. Mic check, Jalen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry, that's my mask in the way probably. Is that better? Tasha?
Good afternoon and welcome back. I'm Lauren Coleman here with Eric Chilton, Monique Robinson, Stacey Spivey. The gang is all here.
We are all here, and you're here too. Thank you so much for watching the 4 to 5 right here on WFMY News 2, Roku, Fire Stick, your app, TV, phone, tablet, anywhere basically.
We're everywhere.
We're everywhere. We're also on Facebook, where we're talking a lot about Thanksgiving. One of our next stories, not everyone gets to be with their families for the holidays, whether that's because of the pandemic, your job, or even school.
And no one should have to be alone for the holidays. That's why one organization made it their mission to show North Carolina A&T students they have family near and far.
Yes, they say that's absolutely right. BEM Sports Entertainment, their goal is simple. They want to support HBCU sports in any way possible. So today, the group partnered with City Barbecue to host a Thanksgiving lunch for the student athletes that aren't able to go home for the holidays.
Holidays are usually a stressful time for student athletes. No family, no home-cooked meal, just practice and games.
I'm 17 hours away from home, so being able to have people that care about me like my own family.
Personally, I'm not from anywhere around here, so I don't get to see my family much.
BEM Sports Entertainment Group and City Barbecue decided this year things would be different. They made meals for student athletes who couldn't go home this year.
To be able to say, hey man, there's 100 to 150 kids that we could reach out, and as City Barbecue and as myself, as the general manager, that I could show 100, 150 kids that may not get to feel it otherwise during this season, but they got something to be thankful for, and there's always someone looking out for them.
You sit down and talk with some of the student athletes, and they was like, we're home for Thanksgiving, we're not with my mom or with my dad, and we don't get to get a good meal or something like that. Man, it feels real good. I always just want to make sure I did give back.
A kind gesture met with a simple response: thankfulness.
The support that we have as student athletes.
It's a great feeling. I mean, just seeing him do this, it encourages us, especially me, to do something like this in the future when I become alumni.
And I'm gonna be honest, guys, I saw many of the athletes pack 2 or 3 boxes to go, as they told me they had no idea what they were gonna eat tomorrow for Thanksgiving. But after today, they have an answer.
I can't tell. Is my mic in? I can talk for a second.
Check,
I think
check.
Stacy's mic wasn't in. I will say that, to me, people talk about comfort food, but to me, food is comfort, right? Like that's just all food. That's kind of a thing. And I think this is a great example of that. Everybody needs, there's nothing better than a great meal to kind of settle everything down for you.
I think food just has a way of bringing people together. It's the language of all people.
And fun fact about me, I love City Barbecue. And so when I was out there and I saw this is what the story was, I jumped all over it. I actually got me a little sample too.
Did you bring some back? Because I have yet to try it.
Yeah, well, they're on Lawndale, so you can find them there.
Okay.
Way to go, Jay.
All right, here's the question we're asking on Two Wants to Know. Turkey or something else? What is your guess for the split of turkey versus something else?
Ham.
No, but what do you think the stats are? Is it
percentages?
50% turkey, 20% something?
I think that's a 50-50 kind of
35%
thing.
turkey.
35% turkey. Yes. She's down on the turkey. Okay, let's look at this CBS News poll, because when they polled folks earlier in the week, they said 65% turkey, 24% something else. And that something else should be what, do you think?
Ham.
That's it? No lasagna, no big steaks,
Lasagna on Thanksgiving.
Hey, if we're not making any rules and stuff like that, what'd you say, Jalen? Barbecue on Thanksgiving. Okay. All right. So if it's turkey, then the next question is this right here. How many days do you eat turkey leftover before you are tired of it?
Like 2, 3 max.
3.
2, 3. All right. What
Janie,
about
you remember my line, my mom's line?
What's your mom's line?
Leftovers are like company at the house. After 3 days, throw them out.
They all smell like fish and they got to be thrown out, right?
That's right.
Okay. How about you, Stacy?
Well, I was just trying to think about it. Okay, if Thanksgiving's on a Thursday,
Right.
is it bad to eat it still, take a turkey sandwich to work on Monday?
No, I think it's absolutely fine. I think it's all kind of, let's look at the CBS News poll and see what other folks said. So 10% said, I just eat it one day and then they're done. But the majority of folks seem to eat it 2 or 3 days after before they get tired of leftover turkey. And then the numbers really dwindle to single digits when it comes to more than 5 days. I mean, that's a lot of days of eating 5 days a week, something turkey, right?
Listen, I'm not eating meat that long after, no.
No, okay, so my sweet spot with leftover turkey is 2 days. I like one sandwich with a lot of salt and pepper, and then I like one more day with the potatoes and the gravy.
Okay.
So how do you guys actually eat it, like when you eat it leftover?
Sandwich.
Okay.
Sandwich, or I eat the ham. I like the ham more than the turkey.
She's not even in the turkey.
She said forget the turkey.
Y'all can have that.
Sandwich, I like the mayonnaise, salt, and pepper sandwich. Yep.
I think that, I typically the next day will do just like the same kind of plate all over, like have Thanksgiving again.
2.0.
And then I do like the sandwich.
Gotcha.
With
Okay.
it. Yeah.
So I asked folks on Facebook and Twitter their leftover timeline and what they make. So our own Julie Luck weighed in. She says tacos day 1, which I never thought about.
That is smart.
And soup day 2. Karen says 3 days, turkey and mashed potatoes and gravy day 1 and 2. Turkey sandwiches day 3, if there's anything left. And there's a view from Facebook right here. Sherry says they eat till the turkey is gone. I don't know how long that is. Candace adds 2 days and the family is done. And then Marcy chimed in with 2 to 3 days for leftovers. And get this, she makes turkey wraps and then she puts some stuffing in it. I kind of like that idea too. So, hey, you know what? No matter how you slice it, we hope you enjoy.
Yum. Well, Greensboro Police Chief Bryan James and city leaders partnered with the AWOL Outreach to hand out Thanksgiving meals to those who need it most. Jake's Diner provided 100 meals to feed 500 people. Food was given away outside of Disma's Charities on North Church Street today to single mothers, daycares, a group home, people in recovery, foster cares, and former offenders.
People who have committed crimes before may feel like, since I can't provide the way that I used to, we kind of go back and resort to the things that we used to do to provide for our families. So what we want to do is make sure that people don't feel that way during this time.
James adds helping people formerly incarcerated provides or improves community safety and helps those groups restore their families.
Well, if you want to skip the cooking and spend all the time you can with your loved ones, there are some restaurants open on Thanksgiving Day. We put that list together for you, and all you have to do is text the word turkey to 336-379-5775, and we'll put that list right in the palm of your hand.
We've asked you what you like most about Thanksgiving, but as we know, sometimes things can go wrong in the kitchen or even around the dinner table. So I asked you on Facebook, ruin Thanksgiving in just 4 words. You all had a lot to say. Irma Smith Ray wrote, I'm not cooking today. Rich Tuck says, my in-laws are coming. John Bogan says, the oven is broken. Paul wrote, overcook the bird. And Sean Sigler says, Cousin Eddie is here.
Oh, man.
I love that one. Let's see. I forgot the dessert. That would be bad.
Well,
very bad.
Yeah, that would be horrible.
Stacey's thinking.
I'm thinking, like, I burned something. I burned the turkey.
Yeah.
I burned.
How about I burned the food? Just all the food.
All the food. We got to go to McDonald's now.
Yeah.
I love macaroni and cheese, so mine was I dropped the mac and cheese.
That's perfect. Oh, that would be horrible, especially when you look at it and it was right there.
And you
then,
worked on it for all day and you're just like, oh.
Oh, I thought of one. Maybe like I ripped my pants or like a shirt or something and you busted out because you ate too much.
Popped all my buttons. That's perfect there.
Well, hopefully none of those things happen for you all tomorrow, but we'll be right back.
What about the weather? We gotta do the weather first. I think I'm with Lauren though. If anybody drops any pan, I will be quite upset. Tonight though, the temperatures are going to be falling down to some chilly numbers. 30 is where we're going to be falling to now. Oftentimes it's actually been in the wee hours of the day, so starting out your Thursday morning, it's going to be cold, but temperatures will warm up. In fact, tomorrow, the warmest day of the 7-day, the warmest day we've seen so far this week, but it's not too warm. It's just in the upper 50s, low 60s. Cold front not too far away. Cold front's going to cross the area late tomorrow night, going into your Friday. Behind it, that bone chilly air is just going to be so cold to end out the week and go into the weekend. This morning temperature trend kind of warms up Friday morning. So this is the start of your Friday, a little bit warmer than normal. That's just because we're going to have some showers as well as some more cloud cover, going to keep us a little bit warmer. But look at that Saturday. right back down to below freezing temperatures. 28 degrees to start out the day. I showed this futurecast in the beginning of the 4 p.m. hour. I'm going to show it again because if you are in western locations, you could see a little bit of some wintry mix to start out your Friday morning, just because it will be so cold, and then you will have precipitation. If it's too cold, you may see something else other than rain. The triad, not even a concern here, just some light drizzle activity, a little bit of rain on the wee hours of your Friday. Haven't shown the 7-day yet, but here you have it. Thursday, like I said, the warmest day, but it's not too warm still, just a low 60, upper 50. The rest of the forecast is quite cold. Less than 40 miles from this station in Winston-Salem, a professor is doing something that has never been done before, finding ways to treat children with disorders before they are born.
Ritu, Martin, Caroline, Brady. Those are names of just a few students leading the charge for the next generation of medical pioneers with Atrium Health Wake Forest School of Medicine's biomedical graduate program. The leader showing them the way, Dr. Grasa Almeida Parada.
Did cells need to be fed, or did you need to come to the lab, or?
Yeah, I'll probably need to come in. I can probably feed them on Wednesday and then once again on the weekend.
They are here. They work hard. You know, they really are my arms in a lab, and they make me proud every single day of my life.
She's a trained medical doctor, but these days she finds herself in a lab, guiding students through breakthrough research as a professor at the Wake Forest Institute for Regenerative Medicine.
I stopped being a physician and I switched to be an investigator. I wanted to find a different way to treat these children.
Dr. Almeida Parada says she got into research to find a cure for children with genetic disorders. She says 380 million people have a genetic disorder and 30% die before their 5th birthday without diagnosis.
One thing that is different from other labs or other researchers is that we try to treat these children before they are born. So like what Martin is doing is developing a cell therapy. So we use cells actually derived from the placenta.
Dr. Almeida Parada says she needed to leave the doctor's office and be the change in the lab.
So I trained at a time when HIV was very prevalent because we didn't have the appropriate tests. And telling one of these patients that they had contracted HIV from a product, it was painful.
Dr. Almeida Parada says not having a lot of treatment options in the late 80s was a tough time. Today, her students tackle genetic issues head on.
And she's trying to predict when we infuse a V, that is a virus that is used in gene therapy, that what happens to the liver. Does this work? Will it make an impact? And then we start studying and also educating the next generation of scientists. I think it's so important to teach them how to think, how to fall in love in science. Okay. So to keep the cells, they don't like to be outside. So my dream is to find cures for these genetic disorders.
I will say each one of those folks, I bet you, if they took an IQ test, they would get the highest score on the spectrum because the amount of science and math and everything that they were doing, I was sitting in there like, huh? I have degrees, I've been to school, I promise you. But when I was in that, I said, this is rocket science, okay?
I mean, that's it. When you get to the genetic level, you know what I mean? When science starts talking about treatments on a genetic level and even before children are born, like that's when science loses me and I just have to sit there in awe and go, this is awesome. I don't understand it, but it's great.
Same. I'm just glad we have people who do understand it.
Yes.
It's just amazing to just see technology just evolve.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, I have a friend from college and his wife was pregnant, and you do this genetic testing beforehand if you choose to, and they found out that their baby was going to have spina bifida. They were able to go in while she was still pregnant and do a procedure on the baby, or like in utero.
What a blessing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's crazy that they are able to do that these days, and I can't even imagine actually what it's going to be like in a few years. But
no, Stacy, that's exactly what she does. That's literally a perfect example of exactly what she does. And she was actually a part of the research group, which was the first people to ever do that on an individual way back long ago. She was a part of that very first group. She was a part of the groundbreaking research to do that. That was a perfect example. I didn't have an example to provide in the story, but you know, we got Stacy for it. That was a great way to break it down, but she's doing amazing work.
Yeah, I mean, so incredible. They're saving lives, and they're going to continue to do so for years to come. And it's all happening right here in our own backyard.
Some incredible movers and shakers here in the Triad.
Yeah, love that story, Monique. Thank you.
Well, you know, there are lots of North Carolina-based products we could celebrate during the holidays. Everything from Pepsi, the taste born in the Carolinas, to Krispy Kreme donuts right here in the Triad. But one North Carolina product issued a challenge to restaurants, bakeries, and even bars across the state. They said, use our product in a recipe or maybe a cocktail and show us what you got. Well, it's the Cheerwine Challenge, and Easy Peasy Bakery in Greensboro was up to the challenge. Take a look at their upside-down Cheerwine cake. So Kelly, this is pretty cool. I mean, Cheerwine's a North Carolina staple. So tell me about this recipe. How did you come up with it? And then we'll get into the details.
Sure. So I love Cheerwine. I've grown up here and it's always been a staple. So when we were kind of coming up with this recipe, I had the thought in my head of a recipe that my mom always made, which was a pineapple upside down, or not really upside down, but a pineapple cherry dump cake. And so we decided to kind of take that and sort of mold it into an upside down cake plus actual goodness of an actual cake and just kind of ran with it. And it was so much fun doing.
So I'm sure everybody's going to ask, and we will link to the recipe, but how hard was this to make? Like, can I do this?
So I'm a mom of two, so it was really easy for me to come up with something that was very simple and effective, and I think that this was definitely an easy way to do it, for sure.
So describe this to people that haven't seen this. What do you call it and what's in it?
So I actually don't know what we ended up calling it, but I call it just a pineapple upside down Cheerwine cake. So it was slices of pineapple on the bottom and then chopped up pineapple and cherry pie filling mixed together with pecans mixed in it, and then I love using the recipe for a depression cake, which is super simple and doesn't have eggs, doesn't have dairy or anything like that. It's just very easy to do it. Just top that on top, put it in the oven, and you're good to go.
Sounds awesome. We can't wait to try it. And look, if you feel like dropping one off one day at my house, it's okay. There's no charge. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.
I
She didn't
you did
drop
there.
it off
Yeah,
at the
you're
house.
like, hint, hint.
Yeah, she did not drop it off at the house, but instead I would have made sure that we got some samples. I just let Lauren and Stacy try it. This is good, right? It's like a,
Very good.
you described it like cinnamon cake.
Yeah,
with
it almost kind of reminded me of gingerbread-ish, the cake part did, and then you got a little bit of taste of cherry, which was good. I was impressed.
I like the uniqueness of using the soda and everything. That's pretty cool.
And also, I should mention, we didn't get a chance to talk with them, but the restaurant Gia got a tip of the hat from Cheerwine because they did a Cheerwine, it played off this, they did a Cheerwine pineapple cocktail. And they are actually, both of these organizations say they are selling this at their establishment, so you can check it out. All right, I asked you on Facebook, your favorite holiday dessert. Here's what you had to say. Kathy said, my mystery pie. It's a pecan pie and cheesecake made together in one pie crust. That's interesting. Donna says pecan pie and cheesecake. Teresa says brownstone front cake because my grandmother always made it for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Courtney says persimmon pudding. You either love it or hate it. I've never had that. And then Marcy says, listen to all this chocolate here. It says chocolate. I make Reese's cup chocolate, chip cookies, Hershey bar pie, turtle cake with a thick layer of frosting, and chocolate fudge, of course. Chocolate fudge, of course. Chocolate fudge is one of my all-time favorite. I don't care what time of the year it is. I love fudge.
I need to go to Marcy's house.
Seriously?
I like anything with peanut butter, chocolate. She had me at Reese's.
Reese's is one of my favorite candies, I
me
think,
too.
of all time.
Unpopular opinion, I'm not a big fan of Reese's.
Really? Oh my gosh.
I like Reese's Pieces, but like the actual Reese's cup.
Is it too much?
Too much peanut butter for me.
Too much sweetness?
I don't know, but I love sweets. And my favorite was always making Christmas cookies with my dad's side of the family. We have a recipe from my nanny, and now that she's gone, we all try to still make her cookies. So I always look forward to that every year.
There's nothing like a good cookie, I don't think. Have you had the Moravian cookies yet?
I have not.
All right, that's your next. They're really thin, but they're
Another
awesome.
thing to add to my list.
Lauren's list is overflowing. Overflowing.
super
We're coming
long.
back. Stay there.
I'm gonna go.
I hear you. Yay.
Yeah?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Thank you.
I called.
Like jittery on edge, so I need to, yeah, I need to back up.
I don't know where, oh, there's a wheat right there.
Hey, I can hear you. Yeah, 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5. Just putting my stuff on. 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5.
Hi there, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont.
Oh.
So he said it's just not.
It's not the same, yeah. 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5. Hi, I'm here. I'm here. Thank you so much. Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together. Gobble gobble.
Mic check, 1 2 3 4 5. Mic check, 1 2 3 4 5.
You want a potato?
People were out in Greensboro today getting ready for their Thanksgiving celebrations, and with the vaccine and the state's COVID
In roughly 24 hours, many of us will be sitting around the table feasting on some of our Thanksgiving favorites: baked macaroni and cheese, stuffing, and fried turkey. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. This year is going to be extra special. It's my first Thanksgiving I will celebrate with my family in 6 years. Yes, the news must go on, even on the holidays. It's also special because it's the first time many of us will gather in well over a year. Prior to the vaccines, COVID-19 canceled many holiday traditions or required us to scale back significantly. I think the past 20 months has reminded us how important quality time in family is, and that the next day is not promised. So as you start prepping in the kitchen for tomorrow's feast or watching holiday movies with the fam, make sure you ask them how they're really doing. For the friends and family who are hesitant or maybe can't be around larger groups of people, give them a call. The last year and a half has been difficult for all of us. It's important that we check in and let the ones we love know that we are here for them, no matter what. That's my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFNY News 2 at 5 starts now.
Thanksgiving is almost here. Doesn't that